Welcome to our in-depth documentary on the anatomy of a cyber attack. Today we'll take you through the intricate steps cybercriminals follow to infiltrate and exploit their targets. Think of it like this. A house, your network, stands vulnerable in a dangerous neighborhood, the internet. Just like any skilled burglar would, these digital thieves meticulously plan their heists, casing their targets, and exploiting any weaknesses they can find. Over the next hour, we'll shine a light on the dark corners of the web, exposing the methods and motivations of these attackers. Every successful attack begins with meticulous planning. The reconnaissance phase is where our digital thieves put on their detective hats. They're scouring the internet, digging through publicly available information, social media profiles, company websites, anything and everything that can give them a clearer picture of their target's online presence. They're looking for those chinks in the armor, the software vulnerabilities, the misconfigured systems, the human weaknesses that can be exploited later on. With a treasure trove of information about their target, our cybercriminals now move on to selecting and crafting the tools of their trade. This is the weaponization phase, where they arm themselves for the attack. They might opt for off-the-shelf malware, readily available on underground forums and marketplaces, or they might decide to custom-build their own malicious code, tailored specifically to exploit the vulnerabilities they've identified in the reconnaissance phase. They're crafting phishing emails designed to trick unsuspecting employees into clicking on malicious links or opening infected attachments. The delivery phase is where the rubber meets the road, where our attackers launch their carefully crafted attack. This is where that malicious code, that digital Trojan horse, makes its way into the target's system. One of the most common delivery methods is through phishing emails. These emails are designed to look legitimate, often impersonating trusted sources like banks, colleagues, or even government agencies. Unsuspecting victims are tricked into clicking on malicious links, opening infected attachments, or even handing over their login credentials. Another common delivery method is through malicious websites. These websites are often disguised as legitimate ones, but they're actually booby-trapped with malware. Chapter 4. Exploitation. Breaching the walls. With the delivery successful, our attackers find themselves at the doorstep of their target's system. This is the moment of truth, the exploitation phase, where they attempt to leverage a vulnerability and gain that critical foothold. A successful exploit might grant them the ability to bypass authentication, escalate their privileges within the system, or even execute arbitrary code, effectively giving them the keys to the kingdom. Chapter 5. Installation, setting up shop. Now that they've breached the perimeter, our attackers aren't content with just a fleeting visit. They want to establish a persistent presence, a way to maintain access to the compromised system for future malicious activities. They might install backdoors, hidden programs that allow them to bypass normal authentication mechanisms and sneak back into the system at will. They might install rootkits, malicious software designed to burrow deep into the operating system, concealing their presence and the presence of other malicious files. Chapter 6. Command and Control, Calling Home. With a foothold firmly established, our attackers need a way to remotely manage their newly acquired asset. This is where the Command and Control, or C2 server, comes into play. The compromised system will periodically connect to the C2 server, often using cleverly disguised communication channels to blend in with normal network traffic. Chapter 7. Actions on Objectives, the Payoff. With the C2 infrastructure in place, the attackers can finally move on to the ultimate goal of their operation, accomplishing their objectives. This is where the true damage is done, where months of planning and meticulous execution culminate in a potentially devastating blow to their victim. The specific objectives vary depending on the attacker's motivations. For some, it's all about financial gain. They might steal credit card numbers, banking credentials, or other sensitive financial information to drain accounts or commit identity theft. Chapter 8. Covering tracks. Erasing the evidence. A skilled criminal knows that getting away with the crime is just as important as the crime itself. Our attackers are no different. Once they've accomplished their objectives, they move on to the final phase of the attack chain, covering their tracks. They'll delete log files, modify timestamps, and obscure their activities in an attempt to make it difficult, if not impossible, to trace the attack back to them. Stay vigilant, stay secure. Understanding the anatomy of a cyber attack is crucial in defending against these threats. By understanding the steps involved in a cyber attack, we can better anticipate their moves, strengthen our defenses, and make it far more difficult for them to succeed. Stay informed, stay secure. Thank you for watching.